to hear a few words of remembrance from Philip's family.
Thank you all. I think we need one more. You'll notice him when he walks in because he's really tall, but I think Troy stepped out for a second, so we're just going to wait for him. But thank you all for coming. I already talked with a bunch of you, and you all shared a lot of kind words, so appreciate all the thought. So I'm going to say some words once Troy's back in here, and then I think Phil's sisters have some words to say, and I think a couple other people have already mentioned that they want to say something, but we're going to kind of do it informal, so as people, take their turn, if you're interested in saying something, feel free to step up here when you're ready. Like I said, it's fairly informal, so even if it's just a quick memory, some thoughts, whatever it may be, feel free. Like I said, he's very tall. If you can't hear me in the back, please let me know. But I'm going to start off by just sharing a few words from a song that played earlier today. It's by Disturbed. It's called Hold On to the Memories. Some of the verses were, take the ones you love and hold them close because there's little time. And in the song they also say, they're never really gone. And one of the verses in the song that caught me off guard was, the world's greatest tragedy are souls who are not remembered. And that took me off guard because I know that won't happen with Phil. I know that he's been all deeply involved in our lives and has shared so many great memories. So I don't have any concerns that he won't be remembered, but it still jumped out at me because it's kind of the opposite. We don't have to worry about his soul being lost. It's to be all with us. So I wanted to share a memory, one of my first strong memories I have from him, a very painful memory. You would disagree on exactly what happened that day, but essentially, when I was around 8 years old, we were horsing around in the living room at my place, and I jumped off the couch and landed face first on the ground. So, like I said, very painful. There were some discrepancies over the years as I retold the story with Phil on how exactly that happened. I claimed that he was supposed to catch me. He said I should have jumped off the couch face first. But that was one of the first lessons that he taught me in his own way. And the lesson was essentially play stupid games and win stupid prizes. That's totally a Phil saying. And that memory stuck to me. Like I said, I was 8, I'm 30 now, and that, this very strong memory that I have, not just because it hurt a lot. So one of the things that I thought was really great about today in this sadness is that we're all able to share memories like that. Even though Phil passed away young, I know he still has a lot of lessons that he can teach me, and that's going to come from the stories that you all share today. So I invite you up, like I said, to please share some memories and stories that you have of him, and keep his memory and soul strong. Thank you.
So one of the hardest things for me will be to try and hold it together, to share some thoughts. I'm going to start off by trying to share something happy, something fun, and we'll end it. As you can see from the things that we have out, he's a really unique soul. He's a lot of fun. He had, some really unique interests that are really fascinating to all of us. We have the tarantulas. He was so passionate about. He raised them from tiny, tiny, tiny little babies that were microscopic and little tubes. And this is one of the largest pumps that he has here. He loved finding feathers and just holding on to things like that, just as he's out in nature. He also had, you'll see the skull. I don't know if for anyone who doesn't know him super well, he liked to collect those things for whether it was, finding something random or just, I think Dan had mentioned a coyote as well, right? That, and he even posted some stuff about, the process that he went through to salvage his skulls. His niece you wouldn't expect it by looking at her. So she actually shares a lot of his interests. So she now has his skull collection. She says she draws a line at the tarantulas, but I know feathers have some big meaning to Troy as well. She had some good meanings about feathers representing some symbols. Anyone who knows Phil knows that he had a pretty nice blade collection. Everything from swords to axes to throwing knives to pocket knives and everything he could have out with him on the trail, out fishing, anything like that. And one of the things that we got to do yesterday as families, kind of gather and look at it all and find some favorite pieces and such. And one of the things that the families should have a collection of throwing knives and axes, because one of the things that we did as a family often on holidays, especially Easter when it was nice out, or nice Thanksgivings, is set up some targets outside around a family throwing time, or you teach us the proper throwing methods, and it was just family holiday time that was kind of unique to us, I think. So we'll try and carry that on moving forward. Just trying to keep that memory of him alive moving forward through all that, and just it's so hard because he was so young. We thought we had so many more years and decades ahead of us being able to shoot times like that. But we're gonna try to keep his memory alive. He was such a big part of my family's life. He was with my kids, because he's so much younger than I am. So he was my kids' babysitter. Everyone who was close to him sure knew about little Dan and Alyssa and all the time he spent with them. Every week, and one or several days a week with them, and he was like a big brother more than an uncle. Making sure they did the homework. Set him up good to be a good dad. And I'm, anyone who remembers Phil from high school, about the piercings and everything, he, one of the things when Alyssa was a baby, she loved dolls, and for it was either her first or second birthday, I can't remember for sure now. It's probably her birthday, she loved dolls, and he came to her birthday party with a baby doll, and I was like, "You got a doll?" He goes, "Yeah, I went to my eye." And I'm looking at people walking by, looking at me weird, so I'm just looking at the baby dolls, and I'm picking them up and trying to find the one that, is gonna be perfect for her, And it's just so sweet that this, the tough uncle is like out looking at baby dolls because he knew that's what made this little piece. And so happy. And just knowing all the time that he loved spending with them, that we got to have all that time with him. And it's gonna be so missed, as we've gotten older, his sister and I, we've gotten to spend more and more time with him and have, our own, outings with him, have a road trip with him recently. So. And it's just so much, fun. We spent all the time talking, in the car for, we were stuck in New York traffic for hours, so trying to get to Maryland. And it was great. There wasn't a moment where we didn't have something to say, and, playing music and singing. We go to Sturbridge a lot, with the kids and everything. And one of our most recent trips to Sturbridge, we had we gave control the playlist over to Bill and Gage, and so everyone's singing along to Five Finger Death Punch, and and we're loving it. Phil and I shared taste in music, so it was great. Knew the words, and the other day was out with, Cindy and I were out with Gage, and so we were dancing that music too. And then Phil's like, "Hey, we should." Roll into the parking lot at Sturbridge with Sway playing, and like, okay, if anyone knows that song, it's not what you would expect to be playing as you go into Sturbridge Village, but that's kind of like how we were. We just, we weren't the usual people, but it was us, and we had fun, and we just loved being together. And we thought we had so much more time, and I'm gonna miss him dearly, and I would love to hear any stories that anyone has, memory, any thoughts. Love to hear it. Cindy, one of the things that we, unfortunately, our father, we both passed away young as well, and suddenly as well. So this is happening again. But one of the things we had read it at his funeral was the dash. It's not forgiving. And then numbers, it's that time in between. I think Cindy found on his Facebook his version, his words of what that was, and I'd like to share that with us if she's ready. And if anybody would like to share anything you're not comfortable coming up, please feel free to just this is very informal. If you're a thought or anything from where you are, I'm welcome that.
Phil wrote this back in 2019. The time when our father passed away, and every year he would say something about it. So his words, when someone passes, what you see on their tombstone is the date they were born and the date they passed. What matters most is that dash. That dash represents the life they lived, things they've done, people they've touched, lessons they passed on, and good old life experience. When a loved one passes, don't focus on the beginning and end, focus on that dash. Because that's where you find the memories of the person's life, and for a moment, not focus on the fact that they're gone from this world. And I know that going through the pictures and stuff, and it's sad to not have a lot of pictures together, but also we lived in the moment. Whenever we did stuff, it wasn't planned. The conversations, the phone calls weren't on schedule. They were done because it was right at the time. Because the conversation was what was needed. And the hug was all that mattered. And didn't need choose your words for that. And every time we'd see each other, hey brother, hey sister, and that was enough, because we always knew what that meant. He worried about me, I worried about him. And that was enough. The stories I have are my own. And only he and I know them. And that's how it will be. Everything that we shared with everyone else is what we were willing to share. And the things that we didn't share were because they were between us. Our thoughts, our tears, and our struggles. That's how we worried about each other the most. I'm glad that we had those moments. And I'm glad that we had laughter, and family dinners, and chokeholds, and the games, genuine laughter, just being with each other. And that's all we needed. And the miles never mattered. And every time I called, he always picked up the phone right away, no questions. hey sister, hey brother. That was it.
There have been some arguments over the years between me and Phil about who was taller. He never really wanted to accept it. But it was only up until a few years ago where it became a point where he could no longer deny it. And as much as he hated it, he finally had to accept that fact. And it was always a good argument. We would bring the whole family involved. We would always argue about the floor being uneven or something like that. But there are a lot of good memories I have with him, and the ones that were between me and him are the ones that are most special for me. I remember Christmas Eve a couple years ago, we decided that we would watch Krampus wrapping gifts. It's a great holiday movie. But I feel like one of the things that I most look forward to doing with him was when I graduated AIT, he was going to be the one to put the wings on my chest. And that's why they're now on him. He's not going to be able to do that for me, so I figured I could do it for him. There are a lot of good times I had with Phil. He would take me out fishing, we would try and catch something, but I feel like the one that stuck with me the most was the time he took me out with Big Dan. Went to the beach, didn't really catch much to start with, so we just scooped around talking. And one of the big takeaways I had from that day is no matter what, no matter how stupid things I did, no matter what trouble I got into, he would always be there for me. And to this day, even though he's no longer with us, I know he still will be. Me and him would always like to wrestle around in the backyard when I was younger. One of those things that I missed the most or regret the most is the fact that I didn't take more pictures with him. I wish I did. But I have what the family has, and that's enough for me. I have those memories that I was with him in the moment, and that's all I need. He wasn't really an uncle to me, he was more of a father. Taught me so many lessons that I'll never forget. The feathers I would give Tim in basic, I told them that they were symbols of strength and struggle. I told him to look at them whenever he needed an encouragement or needed just an extra bit of strength to go through the day. I still believe that fact. I told him I entrusted it to him. I told him to keep it safe for me. Now I give it to his son. Those feathers will always be a reminder that struggle is absolute, but the strength you find to persevere through it is what you need to get through the day. And those feathers are going to be a reminder to him and to his son that everything is possible with family. Thank you.
At this time, if anybody would like to come forward and speak, you're welcome to. You're also welcome to stand where you are and speak.
My mom and he bought me baby dolls. And I think every single one I absolutely destroyed. Like drawn on, heads cut off. Just awful. And he loved that. He was so happy. Reason. He very proudly took credit for whatever part of me was messed up enough to destroy my dolls. I think he's the reason that I am am today. I grew up around the animals, seeing all of the work he put in. And I gravitated towards different animals, but I think seeing the dedication that he had to all of his pets, all of the unconventional animals. I wasn't growing up around cats and dogs. It was the tarantulas and scorpions and different kinds of geckos and reptiles. And all the fish. Seeing him love all of the animals that a lot of people didn't love, I think made me gravitate towards what I like to be today. And I need to get some cats, conventional animals for him. From the last conversation that I had with him. I told him that I was going to help get them vetted. He didn't like how crazy Lily was when she went into heat. I told him I was going to make plans to help him get everything worked out for him. And I'm making good on that. And I think he would be very happy to know that I have Lily's big old uterus in his yard. And I think if I had been able to do it sooner, he would have liked to keep that himself. Put it on display with all of his faults. I just hope that he knows that he was a big part of why I am the way that I am today. And he really was more than an uncle.
I'm kind of new to the game. I've only known Phil for about 6.5 years. Like everyone else, I was in complete shock when I found out. In getting to know Phil was kind of a slow process, but over the years we became very, very close friends, and he got to know my son and my dad, and we always visited each other's houses all the time for each other's birthdays or holidays or just for any reason at all. I contacted Casey a few days ago and asked her if it would be okay if I spoke, and for the past 48 hours or so, I've just had a headache and nervous, and what could I possibly offer to say? But for Phil, I do want to share some really important things because it just shows his character. Not that you guys already don't know, but there are so many wonderful times I had with him, and he was so genuine and loving and caring, and I swear he had a cape somewhere in one of those closets, and he often put it on for me. I am a hopeless person, all in different directions all the time, and he just accepted me 100% for who I was, and I drove him nuts, but he loved me anyway, and he always encouraged anything that I decided to put my mind to. For example, a couple of funny things. I would go over his house and I would always steal his cheese. Anytime I was hungry, I would say, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom and went to steal his deli cheese. This happened many, many times to the point where one day I came over and he said, nope. And he brings me over to the refrigerator, he opens it up and he says, see that right there? That's your cheese, yours. This over here, that's mine, okay? I said, okay, and he shut the door. And he just gave me a smile. And we had a love of Halloween, we had a love of horror movies, all of the dark and crazy stuff. Not in a bad way. Another time I had a great idea of renting a house close by, and he showed up with his truck and his strength, and he lugged all my furniture in. He wasn't alone. I had my friends and family, but he showed up, and that's something that Phil always did. He showed up. While living there, it became very apparent that this house that was originally built in the 1600s was extremely haunted. Many crazy things were happening, and it became apparent that there was no doubt. And my furnace kept breaking down, among other things, just kept blowing and just craziness. And one night it was freezing cold, and my firewood had gotten wet, and there was this gigantic fireplace, and I said, I can't even get the fire started, and he said, okay, come on over. So I go over, and he has a couple of pieces of wood and a sizable knife, and he shows me how to put the knife in, take a hammer, and just literally hit it down and chop it in kindling. So he said, now go. So I leave and I go home, and I did exactly what he told me to do. And I had a raging fire in 15 minutes. I sent him a video of it because I was very proud of my fire, and he was too. Phil and I had a lot of laughs and a lot of fun together. But one of the most touching moments that I've ever had with him was when my grandmother passed away, and I was given the task of picking the photo for her prayer card, and I had hundreds of photos in front of me. I dumped everything out in front of me onto my dining room table, and nothing I picked was good enough, and I just started to kind of feel very defeated and sad. And at a certain moment, he called me, and he asked me how I was doing, and I said, terrible. I feel like I'm letting my family down. I can't find the right photo. And he's like, can I call you back? I said, sure. He didn't call me. He showed up. He walked in, he plopped down at my dining room table. He said, let's find this photo. Not that long after, he said, I found it. He didn't say, I think I found it. And what about this one? He said, I found it. And I sent a screenshot to my family. It was unanimous. They all loved it. They all agreed it was the perfect photo. Always flew in with a cape and saved the day. I will always treasure the time that I've had with him. I want to reference the hug. I was not a hugger. I always said, I'm not a hugger, I don't want to hug. Okay. He said, no, you're not a hugger, no, you're not a hugger. This one day it was difficult. And instead of asking or mentioning it, he just hugged me. And it was that exact moment that I understood what everybody else said about Phil's hugs. When you were hugged by Phil, you knew that you were safe. You were encompassed in nothing but love. There was no judgment. He cared and he loved you and you knew it. I still can't believe that he's not here. But I just didn't want to leave without saying that. And I had to say something. I'm so very for all of you and your loss. And I'm going to miss him so much. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak?
I'll say something. I'm not going up there. I've been friends with Bill for 20-something years. There's a lot of stories can't really share. The thing I love the most about Phil, and I'm sure it'd be a common theme for us, he was unapologetically himself. And just a genuine, like, loving person, but him. You'd probably be so pissed about me sitting back here crying. Just, yeah, when Phil was your friend, he was your friend. And he would tell you exactly what was on his mind, and he was just genuinely there for you. And the stories, his sense of humor, the stuff to make you laugh, that was either just for him, or he was stubborn, but he was stubborn about the way he cared about people. And yeah, he was him. Man, and he was just not going to change who he was for anybody else. And like I said, I think that's what I love the most about him. Is you never really needed to know, like, question where you stood with Phil. Because he would just tell you, like, hey man, you messed up here. He was a little more colorful language than that. But yeah, just the moments we shared will live on through our stories and the stuff that we can share and laugh about. But I miss that dude, and truly thankful for the moments we shared, and truly sorry for everyone's loss. I just wanted to share that. Genuinely put a mark on my life on what it means to just truly be unapologetically yourself.
I'll just say something real quick, just because I feel like I need to. I can't stand up. I feel like Phil would go, wait, no, stop. Stand up if you're going to talk. I feel like I needed to say that. I can feel him behind me right now. Come on, if you're going to talk, stand up. That was Phil, right? Like he just said, unapologetically himself, and it was always funny. I met him, the first time I met him, he threw a dirty sponge at me from a CO2 car track in Tech Ed. And it was just to tell me that we had the same shirt on. Just got hit right in the chest with a real dirty, wet sponge, to which then we both ended up in the principal's office talking about porn, which was amazing. I feel like Steve said, there's a lot of stories we can't share because everybody in this room would be like, you guys are dumb. But I don't know who said it, but somebody just said they always kind of felt safe around Phil. And I don't know if safe was the right word for me, but it was always, well, if Phil's going to do the dumb thing, I guess I can do it. He's probably thought about the safest possible way to do this. Yeah, I just need to say that.
Would anybody else like to speak?
Miss Phil's mom, he kept his father and I on our roads at times, and graduation was a big thing. We did not know until about 2 days before graduation, he said to them, maybe. If you had to pass that chemistry exam, you made it. But during the school year, and I was working at the school too, there were times the teachers would come up to me concerned because he wasn't doing something right in the class. It's like, all I know he knows what he needs to graduate. And that's it. So don't worry. So, yeah, but he would keep us on his toes when it came to school. But he is a good guy. He's my baby. only be rest. Close the gun, will show up. We never questioned anything. We knew we needed to go around, we didn't, my dad knew we'd be there, piece of things, we knew we would drop anything. I don't think that was a family. The devil was French too, because he was holding some of those things to each other. Beyond conventional pets. The scorpions, Tinkerbell the Savannah Monitor was my least, yep, was my least favorite, but the best phone call I ever got was when he was still at Pet Supply Plus. He goes, I got another one. I said, another what? Well, you know, this guy brought this one in and it only has one eye and, you know, it really needs some love and tender care. And I was like, okay. It was a bearded dragon that I ended up naming Mushu. And Phil and Mushu got me an A in my communications class that semester because I had to do a presentation in front of the whole class. I don't like public speaking, so he's like, well, do some research on how to take care of a bearded dragon and then bring the thing in. I'll tell you what, my professor gave me an A because he was scared of the thing. So the unconventional pets is one of the things that I will always remember, and I still don't know the spiders. But being in the schools too, there was one time, he did bring his animals to school to show the kids. And some of them knew that Spider-Man, they thought that was the greatest things. And the teachers would cringe with some of those animals and would ask me how I could stand to sit there up in his room, and I don't have to look at him, I don't want to. He takes care of them. So I have to say one time that Madagascar was some cockroach ended up in his laundry. Running out the clothes and so I'm not going to step on it. They get too close and find something to get underneath and cover him. And I brought him back up in his room and I told him where I put it, and if that's not where it belongs, you can move it, but that's where it is right now. The only normal animal he had in his room was a black hamster that he called Scarface. Everything else was weird. The spiders, centipedes, the cockroach, the savannah monster, like 3 iguanas at one time, and yeah, they were all there. But he loved them. If I came home with a too smelly house, he'd be clean those animals. He was great. He loved his critters.
I feel like everybody's expecting me to say something because I'm the ex-wife and I'm the mother of his son. He was still very much my best friend and my support, and he was always there for me because he knew how important our relationship was for our son. And he didn't hesitate to tell me when I was doing something stupid. And anytime I was up visiting, he offered me his room. He said, sleep in my bed, it's okay. And I'm like, no, a little bit weird. But never in a million years would I have thought that this is where we would be today. And he loved his son, and I know his son loves him. And I'm grateful that he was such a family man, because now I know that Gage is going to have a solid family just to rally around him. Yeah. And he loved all my kids. He loved my brother and sister. And just, I mean, all the kids, everybody that had kids that came around, he just would open his arms and just take them like they were his own. Always. Just a big kid. Just a big kid. And Liam, I don't even know where he is now.
I'm glad I was there to say goodbye because I didn't have to regret it. My earliest memory of him was in the house in Hebron with my two other siblings at the time. And this big, super tall guy walked in, introduced himself, and handed us a copy of the second line and said, go watch this with your siblings. The other memory I have, he's a massive part of who I am today. The archery, the outdoorsness, the love for animals, that all came from him. My most recent memory of him is I stopped by his house because he always had an open door policy, whether that was his house or just in his life. I did not talk to him for years, and after just showing up at his house and everything was up, he said, "What's up, kid?" I was spotting the night, and I was showing it to him, and he looked at it and he goes, "I like this. This is mine now." So, and he offered me a trade, and I said, it was cool, and regardless of the price of the one I just spent on it. So I was like, "Go ahead." And in all honesty, I find it comforting that one of the other people I look to as my family and my brother, Troy, as that night. Because I actually went out and I found the exact same night, and I bought it. So now he and I have matches left to remind us about it. Basically everything I know is because of him. Because he would sit down and talk to me about everything he was coming to him. He always had time for me, for my siblings, for everyone. And I always look forward to just walking in. I decided, you know what, I'm going to go see Phil today. And I was going to the back, the door was unlocked, and I was walking in. And he would be on the porch or on his couch, like he was just waiting. I miss the hell out of him. And I know sitting here, people will be probably smacking me back and call me a dumbass. But it's hard not to, because he was my father. I don't know. I'm me because of him. And I will always be thankful for that.
You were in his wedding.
He was in my wedding.
Yours.
Yeah, I wanted him to be a part of my wedding. I told my wife, I said, I'm having Phil walk me down the aisle. I didn't ask her. I said, I'm having him walk me down the aisle. So he took me down there. And he gave me one of those Phil hugs. So I was standing up pretty good and straight after that hug, ready for my wife. But taught me so much growing up, and reflecting here today, over the past couple of years, I really haven't needed him. And I'm lucky for that, but that's also because of him. He taught me how to be strong, he taught me how to be a man. So these past couple of years, he didn't need to put the cape on for me, but that's because of him. I'm thankful for that.
Take it off.
Why he kept the back door unlocked. He thought he was invincible, and he was. He still is. He's there with us now.
If nobody else would like to speak? This does conclude today's service here at the funeral home. On behalf of Philip's family, I'd like to thank you all for attending. As a reminder, there is a second service tomorrow afternoon at 12:30. We ask that you arrive at 12, that way we have time to settle you in. At this time, I invite you all up to the casket to pay your last